Okay, everyone. So the first video was kind of a dud, so I'm trying this again. We are making the spicy maple chicken from the HelloFresh meals. I was a little bit unprepared and I was kind of like scattered and getting like a little flustered. So I wanted to start over fresh. I have the oven preheating. I washed and dried the green beans. I would do that, but we need them for dinner. For the sweet potatoes, I peeled them and I cut them into roughly about an inch to an inch and a half cubes. They are in salted water, and I'm going to wait for them to come to a boil. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to the next step. While sweet potatoes cook, please place 1 teaspoon of butter in a second microwave safe bowl. Microwave until melted, roughly 30 seconds. So I have another small bowl here, and I'm going to take a tablespoon of butter. It's already pretty softened from sitting on the oven, so that's okay. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to melt this down, and we are going to add in the panko right here, the fry seasoning, which is right here, and then a tablespoon of olive oil and a big pinch of salt. So again, this is pretty room temperature, pretty softened, as you can see. We're just going to go ahead, pop it in a microwave, get it melted. So now I need this, and panko fry seasoning, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Okay, and then a big pinch of salt. So you can see the butter is nice and melted now. So now we have, what is this? This is the panko. So let's go ahead and get that in here. This is going to be the crust that actually goes on the chicken and makes it nice and crispy on the outside. So there's that. Here is the fry seasoning. Okay. Then we need 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Tablespoon of olive oil. And a big pinch of salt. Alright, now we just want to stir this to combine everything together. The melted butter is going to act as the glue that's going to hold everything together. So let's get this stirred. Now the next part coming up is where we are going to use this to season the chicken. It says to put down a little bit of vegetable oil on the bacon sheet. I don't like using vegetable oil personally, so I'm just going to give this a spray with the pan cooking spray. So as you can see, the butter just makes it like not like sticky, but you can see it's holding it together enough in the chunks. So let's go ahead and get, oh, where is it? So we're going to just lightly coat this with pan cooking spray. Again, you can use vegetable oil, you can use it, rub butter, whichever you prefer. So we got that done. We want to pat the chicken dry, so let's move this over here. And again, guys, this is HelloFresh. Everything that you need comes in the insulated box. The basics that don't come in it is everyday stuff that you should have in your kitchen, like olive oil, butter, that kind of stuff. Alright, so let's get this chicken open. I'm trying to be careful with this so all the juices don't come flying out. Alright, there's 1 and 2. Now, of course, you want to be extremely careful when handling raw meat. you want to be very careful not to cross-contaminate it with anything else that you're touching. So just keep in mind, if you're touching raw chicken, raw meat, anything like that, to just be very, very careful. So once we pat it dry, we are going to season all over with salt and pepper. These are getting thrown away, so it's actually okay that I'm touching these, just in case you're wondering. So we're just going to go ahead and do all over salt and pepper, both sides. Okay, don't forget both sides. Okay. Pat chicken dry, season with salt and pepper, evenly spread. Okay, so we need, how much of the sour cream? We need half of the sour cream for the sweet potatoes. So let's cut this. And I'm trying to see where I can put this here. Okay. This part you're just going to want to get in with your hands, get messy. After all, cooking's supposed to be fun, and what fun is it if you can't get messy, right? So you patted the chicken dry, you seasoned it with salt and pepper, and now what you're doing is rubbing just a little bit of the sour cream on tops of the chicken, and then we are going to go ahead and put that seasoning on top. So we'll put these on the baking sheet. And you just want to lightly press. That sour cream is just what's going to help adhere that to the chicken. If you get a little bit on the baking sheet, don't worry about it. It is all right. Just give it a nice little press. That's also going to help some of that nice crust to get into the chicken and that flavor to go down to the chicken when it cooks. All right, I'm just going to give my hands a quick wash, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, so that was hot soapy water that I washed my hands with, just so y'all know, because I'm done with having to touch the raw chicken now. Roast chicken on middle rack for 8 minutes. Okay, so let's get this in because the oven did preheat. Okay. So once that cooks roast for 8 minutes, then we're gonna add the green beans. But meanwhile, we're going to toss green beans in a medium bowl with a drizzle of olive oil and salt and pepper. Okay, so here's the medium bowl. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the rest of this olive oil on the green beans here. And some salt and pepper. And just give these a toss to get them all evenly coated. Now once the chicken is done roasting for only 8 minutes, I know that doesn't sound like a long time, we're going to add the green beans onto the baking sheet, and then we are going to pop this back in for another 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, so while that's cooking, the sweet potatoes are going to finish boiling. I'm going to strain them once they're done. And then the coolness from the rest of the sour cream is what's going to help melt them down and get them nice and creamy and easier to mash. So I'm just going to clean up just a little bit here. Hi, Holly. Just making some room. Alright guys, so 5 minutes left for the chicken. This is a time for you to just kind of breathe, catch your breath, but woosah, woosah. Take this time to just clean up a little bit, especially if you have a smaller kitchen like I do. Take this time to get some stuff out of the way because when the baking sheet comes out, it's going to need somewhere to go because it's going to be hot. You're going to also want some space to mash up the sweet potatoes. So just take a minute, clean some stuff up, get yourself together. Let me see, while sweet potatoes cook, blah, 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 mash up, drain and return sweet potatoes to pot. Okay, so the sweet potatoes shouldn't have too much longer to go here. Let's take one out. Maybe probably another 5 minutes or so. Let me see something here. Okay, let's see. Sweet potatoes are starting to boil pretty good. Chicken's got 3 minutes left, so it's probably actually going to time pretty good with when that chicken comes out for the first time. And then, of course, then we're going to add the green beans on it and finish roasting them for an additional 12 to 15 minutes. When the sweet potatoes are soft enough for me to pierce through so I can mash them, you're going to return them to the pot after you strain them. That's going to help keep them nice and hot. So it'll stay hot for when the chicken is finishing up cooking. Let's see here. Yeah, these are okay. These are probably ready to go. So let me see. Do I leave the heat off or I mean leave it on? Okay, so we're just gonna do this, and I'm gonna go ahead and drain out the sweet potatoes. Alright guys, so I got the cubed up sweet potatoes back in the pan. The heat is off. Okay, if I need to turn it back on, I'll go ahead and do that. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is add this little bit of sour cream that's going to help cool them down and make the mashing process fairly simple. We're hoping. Okay. Actually, this fork I need. Let me see here. Let's try this for mashing. Ooh, I really need a potato masher. This is not working too well. Something else. Well, we're just going to have not so mashed sweet potatoes. I need to get a masher though, because I've noticed this is like, I think the second or third HelloFresh recipe that said having a masher. Let me go ahead and pop the chicken out. Oh, it smells good, guys. Okay, so now we're just going to carefully lay the green beans out. Try to get them in a single layer if you can. That'll just ensure even cooking. Okay, so now we're going to pop this in for another 12 to 15 minutes. So let's reset the timer. Not that. Set it for 13. And let's continue mashing these sweet potatoes. Alright guys, so I've got them as mashed as they're going to be for not using an actual potato masher. Very hard to do if you don't have a masher, just FYI. So we're going to have chunky sweet potatoes instead of mashed sweet potatoes, but that's okay. We're just going to have to deal with that. So while the chicken is continuing to roast, I just want to walk you through the quick steps that are going to happen afterwards. Make sure that the chicken is done. The green beans should be pretty tender. That could be an indication that the chicken is done. I highly recommend a meat thermometer just to be on the safe side so you know that the meat is actually safe to eat. Chicken should be no less than 165 degrees. I do have a meat thermometer, so I will go ahead and test it when I pull it out in about 10 minutes. Once it comes out, then I'm going to go ahead and plate. Again, it's the spicy maple chicken with the green beans and not so mashed sweet potatoes. Highly recommend a masher and a meat thermometer. Again, I have a meat thermometer. I have got to go and get a masher. Because this, I'm trying to use this, and it's just, you can see, we have cubed sweet potatoes instead of mashed. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and try one just to see how they taste. And I'm going to turn the heat back on just very low just because the chicken still has 10 minutes to go. And I don't want the sweet potatoes to cool off too much, so I just have them on a very low heat. Alright, so let's... They're cooked perfect though, actually. They're not like completely soft. They have just a tiniest bit of crunch to them, which I think is awesome. Okay, so guys, I'm actually gonna end the video here because I don't want you hanging out idle for 10 minutes. And I'll post a picture of the finished plate. All right. Thanks for watching my first video, and again, I apologize for how disorganized I was. I wanted everything to be really, really smooth, but you realize you think you got everything you need, and then you don't, and you're reaching and going off camera and blah, blah, blah. So, sorry about that, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any comments, please, on the video, any tips, any, hey, good job, any, you suck, whatever. It's criticism. I can take it. It's all good, right? Bye.